My name is Teresa. Standing in the middle of the opulent ballroom, I watched as the air seemed to freeze. My mother's face went pale, and her champagne glass trembled in her hand. My sister, Lily, was in disbelief, her eyes wide with shock. The hotel manager, Mr. Thompson, stood beside me, his voice calm as he announced, "This is Miss Teresa, the owner of the Crest Hotel." It was a moment I'd never forget, the moment when my so-called family finally saw me for who I truly was. But it didn't happen overnight. Let me take you back to the beginning. I grew up in a well-to-do family in the city. My father was a successful banker, and my mother was a socialite who thrived on status and appearances. I had an older sister, Lily. From the very start, it was clear that Lily was the apple of my parents' eyes. She was beautiful, charming, and everything my parents wanted in a daughter. I was different. I was quiet, introspective, and more interested in business than in the social scene. When I was 22, I started my first venture, a small coffee shop in a quiet neighborhood. It was tough at first, but I worked hard, and it gradually became a success. Then I expanded and bought a small bed and breakfast. Over the years, I built a small hotel empire, all while my family remained completely oblivious. My parents' favoritism towards Lily was evident in every aspect of our lives. When Lily graduated from a prestigious university, my parents threw her a lavish party. They boasted about her achievements to everyone they knew. When I graduated from business school with top honors, my mother barely mentioned it. "Lily's the one with the social grace," she'd say. "You're still trying to find your place in the world." I found out about Lily's engagement party through a post on social media. It was a beautiful picture of her and her fiancé, square root copyright, Henry, a scion of a wealthy family. 3 days later, my mother called. "Teresa, I assume you saw the news. The party's at the Crest this Saturday. Wear something nice and don't do anything to embarrass Lily." There was no warmth, no invitation in the true sense. Just instructions. 6 months before the party, I'd quietly purchased the Crest Hotel. It was a great investment opportunity, and I didn't think much of it at the time. Little did I know that fate had a cruel and ironic twist in store for me. A few days before the party, I received an email from Mr. Thompson, the general manager of the Crest. "Miss Teresa, the client has made some unusual requests regarding guest access. Your name is on a list for alternative entrance routing." I opened the attachment and my heart sank. There, in Lily's handwriting, it said, "Teresa, redirect to the service entrance if she appears. Do not allow through the main lobby under any circumstances." I was furious, but I also knew that reacting rashly wouldn't solve anything. I thought about all the times I'd been overlooked, all the achievements that had gone unnoticed. I decided that I would attend the party and let the truth reveal itself naturally. I called my old college friend, Alex, who was now my attorney. He was shocked when I told him about the blacklist. "Just tell them you own the place. Watch them grovel," he said. But I knew that it wouldn't be that simple. I told him I don't want revenge. I want them to know that I'm not who they think I am. Alex agreed to be my backup and bring some documentation just in case. On the night of the party, I dressed in a simple black dress, elegant but understated. I arrived at the Crest, and as I approached the front door, a security guard stopped me. "I'm afraid you'll need to use the service entrance, ma'am," he said. I looked past him and saw my mother standing inside the lobby, watching. She gave me that cold, satisfied smile. 10 meters away, Lily was glowing in a beautiful gown, surrounded by guests. I took a deep breath and said, "Fine, I'll use the service entrance." As I walked towards the service door, I could feel the humiliation, but I also felt a strange sense of determination. The service entrance was a stark contrast to the grandeur of the main lobby. It smelled of cleaning supplies and food. As I entered the kitchen, the staff stopped what they were doing. Chef Martin, who had worked at the hotel for years, whispered, "Miss Teresa, we weren't expecting you." I told him to carry on and that I was just a guest tonight. I made my way to the ballroom through the service corridor. The party was in full swing. Crystal chandeliers illuminated the room, and guests were dancing and enjoying themselves. Lily was the center of attention, making a speech about love and family. She mentioned everyone but me, and even made a veiled jab at my lack of commitment in my past relationships. I watched from the shadows, my hand tightening around my champagne glass. But I held my tongue. Then, Mr. Thompson approached me. Miss Teresa, we have a situation with the seafood shipment. The Atlantic shrimp has quality concerns. As the owner, I need your approval to substitute with the tiger shrimp from our reserve. The word owner hung in the air like a bombshell. My mother's eyes widened, and Lily's face went white. Henry looked confused, and his mother, Mrs. Harcourt, a woman of great influence, stared at me with a calculating look. Lily was the first to break the silence. This is a joke. She doesn't own anything. I calmly replied, I've owned the crust for 6 months. You can verify it with the county records. Mrs. Harcourt stepped forward. I'd like to see proof. Alex appeared beside me and presented the documents. Mrs. Harcourt examined them carefully. I see. And you had your sister use the service entrance, she said, looking at my mother. My mother stammered, I didn't know. I looked at her and said, you never asked. You never cared about my life. The room was filled with whispers. Lily's engagement suddenly seemed uncertain. Mrs. Harcourt took Henry aside for a private conversation. My mother grabbed my arm and said, Teresa, you're embarrassing us. I gently removed her hand and said, no, Mom. You embarrassed yourselves. I just showed up. Lily, on the verge of tears, asked, so what now? Are you going to ruin my engagement? I looked at her and said, the party will continue. Your engagement is your business. I just want you to understand that I'm not the invisible daughter you thought I was. After that night, things changed. The Harcourt family revised the prenuptial agreement. Lily was devastated, but I couldn't bring myself to feel sorry for her. My mother started calling me once a month. The conversations were still awkward, but she asked about my new hotel project for the first time. I realized that I didn't need their approval anymore. I was proud of what I had built, and I was no longer the invisible daughter. I was Teresa, a successful businesswoman who had finally found her voice.